emblem on the front. And I went into the Ville and bought 5 silkscreen painted Christmas cards for $1. And I sent the generic cards just friends and family. I sent one of the painted cards to the editor-in-chief of the Virginian Pilot newspaper. And I put in there, to all the folks at home from a Marine in Vietnam. And the editor-in-chief had that card in his hand and was walking down the hall, and he spotted my next door neighbor who worked for the paper. He said, "Jim, look at that." So Jim looked at the card and opened it up. He says, "My God, that kid grew up next door to me." He said, "Well, take the card, do a story." That's what this is. The story that my next door neighbor wrote.
How'd she find it?
She sent a letter or a text to the Virginian Pilot and asked them if she could get a copy of the 2 articles, because they did an article that Christmas, and then when I got home from Vietnam, he did a follow-up. And because of this article right here, I got 1,550 cards and letters, and I got over 50 packages. Now here I am in Vietnam. I'm in my tent one day cleaning my machine gun, and somebody runs to the front of the tent and said, "Evans, the CEO wants to see you." I said, "For what?" He said, "I don't know." So I strapped on my 45 and grabbed my hat. "Sir, PFC Evans reporting his order." "Evans, come in, at ease. Tell me why the Commandant of the Marine Corps wants a picture of you in all your mail." And I looked at him, I said, "Damn, I don't know." "Well, how much mail have you got in the last week?" I said, 3 letters. I can stand there and fan them out. "Okay, well, I'll talk to you later." "Yes, sir." So I turned and left. And that had me puzzled. So that day at mail call, the Jeep rolls into the compound, and the mail comes in great big orange sacks. The guy reaches in and grabs a handful of mail and goes, "Smith, Jones, Evans, Evans, Evans." And the whole goddamn sack of mail was mine. Well, fuck, I had a card party. Then I started getting packages. Jeez, one lady sent me a 25-pound bag of peanuts. I got cartons of cigarettes. I got money. God.
Did you share it?
Oh yeah, we had card parties in the tent.
What's a card party?
That's where I take my mail and dump it in a pile in the center of a ring of Marines, and we open cards. And I just told them, anything looks personal, give it to me. And that's what they did. Even if they opened one that had money in it, they say, "Here, you got $5. You know.
Would you throw them some of it? Some of the extra money to them too?
No, I didn't throw none of the money to it. But when I had when the packages started showing up, I'd take what you want. Take what you want. I want this. You take what you want.
Yeah.
In a 5-pound bag of peanuts, everybody had peanuts.
Wow. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
That is awesome. That's a memory I'll never forget. And I want to hear you read this.
Okay, we'll read it. We'll read it on film too. How about that?
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
On December 1st, he mailed it, a beautiful hand-painted scene on silk showing 2 Vietnamese something, I can't read it.
Pans.
Huh, yep, with a pagoda rising. I don't know what that is.
What is that?
In the green
What's that, Mom?
landscape across the river. Inside on rice paper enclosure, which bears the printed greeting, best wishes for a Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous New Year, he added his personal greeting. To all the folks back home from a Marine in Vietnam, then he signed his name and mailed the card to the editor to the Virginia Pilot. Everyone at the newspaper got a tremendous kick, a real emotional wallop out of this 19-year-old Marine who took time out from fighting a war half a world away and used his last Christmas card to express his goodwill toward all men and his homesickness too, by including everyone in Tidewater, Virginia in his greeting. All of us here are sending him a Christmas card, and you owe him one too. But before I tell you this address, something to tell you a little about him. He's a good kid, a typical irresponsible American boy who used to get into all sorts of mischief, but never did anything really bad. I know him because I watched him grow up. His parents, Mr. and Miss Winston Evans, lived next door many years. I watched Miles build his first tree house and loaned him some nails to finish it. Later, I watched him raise a flock of racing pigeons.
Yeah.
And still later build a go-kart powered by the motor from an old lawnmower. It saddened us when he quit Princess Anne High School in October '63 during his junior year to join the Marines. He was an impulsive kid then, but he came home that Christmas as a man who realized that he had made a mistake by quitting school. He set about rectifying his mistake. He took military correspondence courses, and we were proud of him when he wrote from Vietnam recently. You remember me telling you that I was going to finish high school and go to college when I get out of the Marines? Well, I got my GED test back last week, and I passed. You go ahead, Uncle Miles.
I know that's right.
That's just as good as a high school diploma.
There it is, Miles. How you feeling?
Yes.
I'm going to try to go to Frederick College when I get home. I think I have a pretty good chance. But if his letters express his characteristic optimism, they also reflect his homesickness. He needed to be ashamed of that. Homesickness comes to every fighting man. After all, he's still only 19 years old. Despite his homesickness in his youth, however, his letters reflect his conviction that what he is doing in Vietnam is right. Here is what he said about that in a letter written October 30th. Have you ever heard of anything so silly as those college kids or children raising so much commotion about being in Vietnam? If they had a chance to see what the communists are doing, these people over here, they would shut their big mouths. I'm proud that I have had a chance to help a bunch of wonderful people like the Vietnamese. Another time, after battle with the Viet Cong, he wrote, the day before yesterday, my drill instructor at boot camp was killed by a VC bobby trap. I sure hope no one else I know gets killed. And still another letter, he said, guess what? I lost my glasses today, and believe me, I'm in a jam. I can't see anything. I hope no one sneaks up on me tonight. Oh my God. When he was 12 or 13, Miles said he wanted to go into the ministry, but he recently wrote his parents, who now live Plaza Trail, Virginia Beach, that he wants to become either a social worker or a high school physical education teacher. In the meantime, you owe Miles Evans a Christmas card because he found a way to send you the last one he had. Send it to him and his buddies in D Company. He will like that. His address is da-da-da-da.
1,550 cards and letters and 50 packages.
Came.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm in my tent cleaning my machine gun.
Yeah.
Kid runs up to the front of the tent and said, Evans, the CO wants to see you. I said, for what? He said, I don't know. So I got up, and I put my gun belt on and hat, and reporting's ordered, sir. He said, Evans, have you written any letters home about the war? I said, oh, no, sir.
Mm-hmm.
No. Why does the Commandant of the Marine Corps want a picture of you and all your mail? And I'm thinking, I don't know, sir. How much mail you got in the last week? I said, 3 letters. I could fan them, you know. He says, okay, well, I'll talk to you later. That very day at mail call, mail truck pulls up, great big sacks, orange sacks of mail. He opens it, the mail clerk opens it, and he reaches in, Smith, Jones, Evans, 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 Evans. And I'm, God damn, I didn't never think that that little Christmas card was going to generate this.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So the next day, the same thing. Evans, Evans,
They
Evans,
kept
Evans.
calling and
And I take all that mail and went back to the tent with my platoon, and I dumped it in the middle of the floor. Everybody sat in a circle, and we had a card party.
Isn't that so nice?
And I just told them, I said, if you open something that looks personal, just give that to me.
Miles, what's a card party again? A card party. What does that
Well,
mean?
that's just what I called it. I dumped all that mail.
And let everybody
we
help
had-
him open. Yeah.
We had and everybody opened.
Okay.
Everybody was reaching in and opening,
Okay.
you know. So those cards were for those guys too. You know, is the way I looked at it. And I got money. And then when the packages started coming, I got a 5-pound bag of peanuts.
That's nice. That's so
I
sweet.
got cigarettes, food, snacks.
That was so
Oh,
sweet.
and I told the guys, okay, I want that, and y'all can split that up. They're my cigarettes,
Yeah.
you know. It was
Which you'd
just-
end up sharing anyways.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Can I bum a cigarette? Yeah, here. You know.
Yeah.
But
That is crazy, Uncle Miles.
I know.
and then when I got home, he did a follow-up.
Hmm.
And it was something like the public meets the private or something. And that's where I told the folks how many cards and letters I got and how many packages. And that I did read every single card and letter.
Aw,
Um,
that's so cool.
and Jim told me when he was interviewing me for the second story, he said, you know, at the same time that my story was published, there was a nationwide drive to get people to send cards and letters. I got more cards and letters to me than the nationwide went to everybody.
Wow. Isn't that something?
Here.
I mean, I got letters from, all over the country.
That is crazy.
Oh, I've got an aunt that lives
What'd you do
in-
with them?
When I went on R&R, they shit canned them. I couldn't bring home bags of mail. I couldn't take them with me
Yeah.
on patrols, you know.
I mean, that's
Sure,
a lot.
sure. Carry that, Marine!
But But I've got an aunt that lives in Norfolk, and she sent me this article, and Merry Christmas, Miles. I got pictures from girls, hi, Miles. Call me when you get home.
Did you call him?
School teachers sending me pictures.
Oh God.
And
Ain't nothing, Jane.
Ain't no change.
Ain't nothing, Jane.
after that mail came, it was a little while later, I get a letter from Frederick College.
Stop.
And I opened it up. It was an unconditional letter of acceptance. You are going to
Frederick.
No matter
Frederick
what.
College.
No matter what you did after that point.
When
Huh?
you get home, come to the campus and let's talk. So my worst subject in high school was math. I can't do math to save my life.
To this day.
So I went and I met with the director of admissions, and we talked, and they took me around the campus and showed me. I mean, I was a VIP that day. And he said, the only thing I'd like to request of you is to take a higher course. It's the only thing I'm requesting. So I went to Garfield High School, right outside of Quantico, Virginia, enrolled in a night class, and I went, and I made an A.
Go ahead.
That teacher made it so interesting, I aced it.
That matters who the teacher
And
is.
that went to Frederick College. The next time I saw the director of admissions, good work. Good work. The day that we had to go to the student center to sign up for classes, you choose your classes you wanted to take, submit it, they would check it to see if the class and time was available. Well, I put Psychology 101. That's a sophomore class. And they kept rejecting it, kicking it out, kicking it out. I went to the director of admissions. I said, look, I'm here. I want to take psychology. He leaves his office, goes to the student center, goes up, sign him up. I'm a freshman taking
Sophomore class.
sophomore class,
How sweet is that?
and I passed it.
And you passed it.
Yes,
There it is.
Uh-huh.
that day.
Uh-huh.
And that guy started slinging mail my way.
Mm-hmm.
I could not, I had no idea why they were, oh, and people sent me copies of the article.
Yeah.
And,
And that's what that is, that paper.
yeah, copies of this. But there was from the newspaper, cut out from the newspaper
Right.
and sent to me. I took that to my commanding officer, or the CO. I said, this is why. And I left. And he read it.
You let him read it on his own?
Yeah. And then he brought it back and gave it to me. He said, good work.
That is so
It is good work.
But during the card parties, my best friend in Vietnam, Richard Marks, he was right there by my side. And we're reading cards and letters. And when one of the copies came, I gave it to him. I signed it and gave it to him. He had an article published in his alumni paper in New York. And when he got copies of that, he signed one and gave it to me. Well, then he was killed.
Oh my God.
So I cherished that article.
Right.
And I treasured it all the way through Vietnam, well, the last half of Vietnam. And when I came home, and I was stationed at Quantico, Virginia, I was flipping through a magazine, And for whatever reason, the name Marks jumped right out of the pages. And I flipped back, and it was a book review. His parents took his letters
And wrote a book.
and had it published, and it was called The Letters from R.E. Marks, USMC. It was from boot camp to Vietnam. And he was telling stories in his letters
Mm-hmm.
that I knew I was there, but he changed the name. They changed the names of people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, names I'd never heard of. That's how I know. But and when I bought that book, I taped that letter, his article,
Mm-hmm.
inside the cover,
Mm-hmm.
and that was one of my cherished possessions. And when the house was robbed, they stole my lockbox, and there goes my book.
That is so sad. Oh,
But look, it came back, huh?
Huh?
And the article came back.
Well, but his article never came back.
Maybe we asked Pua to get on that one. Well, don't ask
I
too
don't
much.
even
But
know the name of the paper, where he went to school
I can find
now.
it.
this video will last all the way through.
Yeah. Well, Richard Marks.
This is fun, you guys. This is
It-
fun.
I love hearing
This is
about.
fun.
Can I put y'all on a little bit?
No, I look crazy.
We love y'all. Love everybody. Love everybody. No, Miles, we love you too. Great work. You're a true American hero.
No,
Straight
I'm
up.
not a hero.
Well,
Yes, you are.
that's
Richard Marks is
that's
a
why
hero.
you are. It's because you say you're not.
I'm not a hero.
That's exactly right.
You didn't get Uncle Miles'
I agree.
doggy.
There he is. Okay. There it is. What? When you did what?
When I opened that article up at 3:09 today, I couldn't believe it. That was the best present I could have ever have gotten.
Isn't it amazing how she found all that?
Yeah. Man, I tell you. And she says she's going to try to find the follow-up. Because he wrote another article after I got home. And that's the one that's got the drawing. I told him I'd take a C ration case. They came in a sleeve. He pulled the sleeve off to open the case of C rations. I used that sleeve like a clipboard to put my paper on to write. And he had one of the artists at the paper draw a picture of a soldier sitting in a foxhole with a C ration sleeve writing something. And that was a representation of me, what I told him. And I can't remember much that he wrote in the last article, other than the fact that I told him about how many cards and letters I got and how many packages, and that I read every one, and I thanked everybody from the bottom of my heart. But yeah, he took excerpts of letters that I wrote home to write that first article, because he went to Mama's and asked if they could give him any information, and Mama showed him the letters. Oh, and I think in the second article, he told that I got an unconditional letter of acceptance to Frederick College and that I was going to Frederick College when I got out.
And you went.
And I went.
Siri? Siri?
We're going to watch him watch you. Because that's what he's doing. He's sitting at the door watching.
God bless America, home that I love. How'd you feel about your time over there?
In Vietnam?
Yes, sir.
Well, I was a young kid. And Uncle Sam said go. I went. No complaint. Scared shitless. But I went. I did my job. I came home safe. And I would do it again if called. But I didn't do anything special. I just went and served and came home.